Hello to my Taurus. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your message. Happy Friday the 13th through Friday the 20th of June. So June 13th through June 20th. Let's get into it. Let's see what's going on in your reading. See what's going on in your cards. Let's see what's going on in your cards here. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. First card, I am safe and protected. All right. So this is good. All right, let's get into talking to you wherever, talking about your second house. So whatever your zodiac sign is, talking to the Taurus in you. Second house, Taurus happens to rule second house. Second house is about personal resources, money, habits, possessions, values, um, financial security, self-worth, and also income. 732, shift reality. Luck is a mindset. So your angels want you to be ready for some lucky breaks headed your way. When you are in a negative mindset, negative forces are attracted to reinforce it. So, however, um, when you feel lucky, forces that reinforce that feeling come in. So, take several pauses throughout the day to repeat this mantra: things work out for me, and simply feel lucky. So, something is closed out. People have been talking about, peace, something about your peace. So something that could have been disrupting your peace, something is closed out, but it looks like you're safe and protected. So something could have been disrupting your peace in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Something is closed out. The moon is in Capricorn, right? So when the moon is in Capricorn, you may have been carrying something like really heavy on your shoulders, like leading up to today, maybe yesterday, because the moon was in Capricorn on the 12th. So the moon was working on various parts of your body. So you start feeling it, um, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, but you feel it in your backbones, your joints, your knees, your skin, your hair. And then on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, June 13th, 14th, 15th, you may start feeling it in your calf, your calves, your ankle, your shin, your Achilles. And that's really source saying, go ahead and close out a cycle. Go ahead and walk away from something. You're preparing for, you know, the moon to move into Pisces, where it can feel overwhelming. Something you could have believed, could have a belief system about something that you could have caused you to have gotten heavy on your, feeling like you're carrying a burden on your shoulders. So it's just saying you're safe and protected. Whatever you were worried about that was disrupting your peace, or people were talking or whatever, the source has it under control. That number 7 speaks to um, the seventh house in terms of the justice card. Source really wants you to have a healthy work-life balance and go into prayer warrior mode, because the opposite of that, or the polarity of Libra, would be Aries. And Aries rules first house. So personality, your temperament, your appearance, your self-image, your first impression, self-awareness, outlook on life. Somebody was almost like feeling like there was an entity that was threatening some physical existence. The physical existence is threatening your second house, meaning your personal resources, your money, your habits, your possessions, your values, your financial security, your self-worth, or your income. So it's just like learning how to go into prayer warrior mode. If that's what puts a fire up under somebody to start praying, source is saying, then yeah, roots for something else runs real deep in terms of material possessions. We're talking about second house. And so source is saying you're planting some new seeds from now on to really increase your prayer life on a regular basis. Somebody may have just kind of forgot that you're safe with the great I am, safe and protected with the great I am. Somebody may have like let their prayer life kind of sort of fall to the wayside a little bit. And so it could have been blindsided by two energies in your ear when your ancestors like, why are you letting humans blindside you when your ancestors have been talking to you forever about how the energy of money is attracted to you, money and things of worth and value, people, places, and things independent that are independent of that, like independent wealth is attracted to you. And we're not even talking about just paper and coins. People who are not afraid to close out cycles and go independent because they know their worth and they know their value. These are people who are they're not afraid to break a chain, break generational cycles, chains, and curses, and go at it alone. So it's like somebody's ancestors are like, why are you letting humans in your ear talk to you about this when really you should be closing out cycles because you know your worth and you know your value. We're talking about your physical existence. This is again, you rule second house. And I'm talking to even my cross watchers. When you know your own worth and your value, this is self-worth, second house, right? So it's just like nobody is going to keep you chained to fear or doubt because somebody feels like something is their way or the highway. So it's like, okay, somebody has to start getting back into speaking things into existence, like, in this sort of command voice, more of like not in operating in fear. I'm so afraid that, money is at risk or this is at risk or that's at risk. So it's like, no. Somebody kind of lost sight of something, but having people in your ear. Yeah. So when the moon is waning in Capricorn, that energy supports release, discipline, reflection on long-term goals, and letting go of structure and responsibilities that no longer serve your highest good. Um, First question for Source is, what responsibilities or burdens is Taurus ready to release? And that's what it is. Something has been set and a seed has been planted in you of knowing your worth and value from the beginning, from ages 0 through 7. And that's something that somebody may need to get back to somewhere in this at the root chakra, between the root chakra and the heart chakra, which would be the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra. Something got out of balance in terms of your emotions or feelings, in terms of your will. Like you can do something, somebody can get back to prayer. Like, so people just let people get in their ear and just say any old kind of thing in their ear. Loved ones. So two loved ones could be in somebody's ear right now. Could have blindsided somebody with something. Oh, somebody will stop somebody's money. If somebody's projecting their fear onto you when you are a prayer warrior. So that's what you're releasing. You're like, I know what my ancestors said about me. I know what I have in me. I can pray. I can go directly to source for clarity. So somebody is sitting on their throne, carefully vetting their thoughts and just really kind of sort of looking at the energy that's sort of fanning the flames, right? Somebody's going to get out and get in the sunlight. Somebody's going to get out and get in the sunlight and get some fresh air and just like, okay, somebody is fanning them flames. And these are loved ones fanning the flames, got somebody, blindsided, get walking around with blindfolds on when source is trying to open up your third eye. So so to add the spiritual part to this physical realm, because the heart chakra is the gateway between the physical and the spiritual realm, right? For one, source is saying some kind of heart chakra cleansing is going to happen. You're going to pull up anything that was preventing you from growing, right? We're talking about seventh house, any hidden enemies. Seven speaks to the seventh house. Libra speaks to seventh house, is like marriage, relationships, partnerships, business contracts, inner desires, or enemies. Anybody that has proven to you that you've had their back, and this is anybody. When I say anybody, family members, loved ones, friends, whomever, that you have proven, and I'm talking about you're going to have to write this down, you have proven to have their back. You stood 10 toes down, had their back. But when you needed them to have your back, it was, a problem, right? Source is sending, so the 7 right here would be, for instance, Libra. The polarity to that is Aries. So somebody is now recognizing that you can do something alone as a prayer warrior. You can talk. That's number 3 right here. It looks like lips when you turn it to the side. You can talk directly to source to protect your peace. That's what you're saying. I am the great I am. You feel safe and protected with the great I am. Somebody is going alone with something. Somebody's like, your ancestors planted something deep within you. It's almost like somebody feels like they need to partner with you when it's a convenience up to them. So it's like having a coworker that feels like you could be working with somebody. We need to go into the office together, and we need to plead our case in front of the manager together. But then when you need something for them to back you up, somehow conveniently they took off from work. They don't feel good today. It's something going on where they can't have your back with something. But whenever they need you, you always there. Those days are over. I'll tell you that right now. Source already closed that out because somebody is starting to see you there patiently. Y'all are very generous sign with your patience. You have patiently waited for people to balance some things out, balance out the scales. And it's not like you being petty, not like you just sitting around keeping count, but something in your spirit is letting you know, um, something in somebody's spirit is letting somebody know that you being high vibrational in some regard as far as loved ones are concerned, and kind of sort of doing something, just thinking for yourself at a high vibrational, and in terms of operating in a spirit of love, forgiveness, like straightening out things, your chakras on your own. It's almost like, well, who does Taurus think they are? Like, you know your worth and you know your value because the seed was planted. And this could be individually. You could have 10 siblings. Let's say you could be one of 10. You could be 11 sibling, whoever, 10th, 5th, whoever sibling, and the seeds were planted in you. I feel like somebody's kind of like having a Joseph situation here, where I feel like somebody is something about you very early on. The seed was planted in you very early on to like break out. Like, see this right here? So something runs deep for you in terms of your self-worth. Remember, like, you know your worth and you know your value. But now there's something that's coming out of the soil and somebody is growing up, like really in the spiritual realm growing up, and you are independent and cycles are closing out here and you're financially independent. Somebody feels like they need to gang up on a Taurus. Like, right now they need to be in Taurus ear, like it's as if you're not smart enough to think for yourself, as if your sacral and your solar plexus chakras are out of alignment. You like, you good, God got you. You like, God got you, you safe and protected, you good. Like, what everybody so nervous about? So it's like almost like some energies are coming to Taurus saying something that's disrupting or could threaten your peace. You're like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm rooted and grounded. Like, your symbol is a bull. You just carefully grazing. Like, I mean, until something come blow a blowtorch up under your hoof, your symbol is a bull. Obviously, you don't feel no need to move. Like, you just you patient. That patience extends to everybody. Like, that's just how somebody is built. Somebody is the Hierophant. So somebody had to be shady to send you a message, right? Somebody had to be shady to send you some message to kind of remind you that they had your back. And I know that through the number 7, because 7 is the justice card. So somebody either had you in spiritual court, had your back in spiritual court, or had your back in 3D court. So somebody had to be shady towards you, like y'all were competing in like in band camp or something. Somebody had to, be shady in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Oh, remember that time when we was teenagers, such and such and such and such. I did this for you. I had your back with such and such. And when so and so was saying this about you and this and that. So it's just like, okay, all you owe somebody is a thank you. That's it. Okay. How I gotta continue paying through the rest of the lifetime. You're safe with source, almost like somebody, like basically somebody was like, I had your back when some energies were, saying some things about being shady towards you, whatever. But anyway, the moon is in Capricorn. It can affect your backbone, your joints, your knees, your skin, your hair. And you may have felt it on Thursday and Friday. But so to say, at some point, somebody is just getting tired of carrying people on their back. And then every time you want to be independent or independently think for yourself and put emotions to, under lock and key and be logical in your thinking, here comes somebody fanning the flames, um, talking about your relationships, your romantic, your fifth house, maybe like your or first, fifth, or ninth house. They got to attack your personality, your temperament, your appearance, your self-image, your people's first impression of you, self-awareness, outlook on life, or your romance, or your creativity, or your children, or projects, or fun, or self-expression, or your hobbies, or what makes you feel good. Or they got to attack your higher education, or philosophy, law, whether it's spiritual law or physical law, your religion, your travel, your ethics and morals, personal beliefs and spiritual beliefs. All this has to be under attack, being shady. As a reminder, I had your back and I need you to have my back. But how long do you just keep paying? How long? So something that number 9 lets me know that something has ended. Like you're no longer paying, but carrying people on your back. When people being shady towards you, you like, mm-mm. It's just heartbreaking. When people got to keep reminding you, keep breaking your heart and keep reminding you, be being shady, like, mm-mm. No, sir, and no, ma'am. The buck stops here. The dollar or whatever the currency is stops here because you know your worth. The seed was planted very early on in somebody's life. So somebody could have been the favorite in the family, whether you're a man or woman, but something about your energy in terms of like your second house, excuse me. Again, I got to reiterate this. Your sun, moon, rising Venus does not have to be Taurus as far as this reading is concerned. Something about you knowing your self-worth and your value. Every time somebody is being shady, that is your cue to say, you know what, I'm out. I got the message loud and clear. Page energy is messenger energy. I got the message loud and clear. You got to attack something. You got to remind me of how you had my back with something, whether it was financial or I love you, but love shouldn't hurt like this, where you got to keep on bringing up, depression or heartbreak or divorce or surgery. You got to keep on bringing up stuff to remind somebody being shady. Why can't you just keep something high vibrational? Somebody got to go down to the lower of low. See, third house, this is somebody talking to you about your third house. Early education, your intelligence, sibling interaction, logic, reason, communication skills, short trips, hobbies. Why somebody got to be shady and bring it low down to third house? So third house speaks to through Gemini. We're not talking about any Geminis, but it's almost like somebody got to bring out the shadow side of you to get you to move, right? And somebody knows exactly what to touch, right? So this is where the blowtorch under the bull's hoof comes in. It's like if somebody got to take it all the way back to third house, say something to you to disrupt your peace in order for you to say, okay, well, why you got to say that? The dark side of number 7, when God has already closed it out, God has already completed something, and so here comes somebody energy saying, okay, I know what to say exactly to get to Taurus, to cause Taurus to be mad. You said, you know what? The enemy has been exposed. And when I say the enemy, I mean the enemy within you. Something that somebody could not see before within them is like, you know what? I need source. I'm going directly to source. Shade isn't going to work anymore. We're not between ages of 15 to 21. Whoever you are, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're probably over 18. But people being shady towards you doesn't work on you anymore. Whether it's family members, friends, whomever, you are unchaining yourself from that. It don't matter who it is, whoever, whatever, it doesn't matter. For you, you're saying, you know what, I'm going independent. I'm independent. I'm good. So what responsibilities or burdens is Taurus ready to release? That's what you're ready to release. People who are shady towards you. Don't matter who it is. People who are being shady towards you, they got to keep on bringing up the past. Keep talking about the past. Keep breaking your heart over and over and over again. Like this, just want to bring out the darkness in you. You're like, you know what? I'm pulling out a sword. I'm cutting it off. And these are 3 energies that's doing it. Trying to disrupt your sleep, because for them, it's almost like they got to cover every corner of the earth. They got to cover your root chakra, your money, personal possessions. They got to cover, your personal resources, your money habits, your possessions, your value, your financial security, your self-worth. They got to cover and these are family members. They got to cover they got to attack your second house. They got to attack your 6th house, whether it's your So let's run down the list. They got to attack your personal resources, your money habits, your possessions, your values, your financial security, your self-worth, your income. Or they got to attack your sixth house, which is your health, your work habits, daily routines, fitness, your pets, your service to others, your diet, spiritual practices. Or they got to attack your career, your life goals, achievements, public image, what kind of father you are, or the masculine side of yourself, right? The social status or your fame. So it's just saying, it's like these energies, whoever the energies are, they so busy assassinating people's character. It's like they just really look to find what people's demons are. Again, because it's their way or the highway. This is the opposite of 7. This is 4. So it's just saying, so 4 and 7 is 11. Somebody is saying, okay, 11, you know what? I'm getting off the fence and stop overthinking stuff, and I'm going to enlighten myself. I've already gone through a dark night of the soul. I'm enlightened now. I need to step into the light. Something is a wrap. I need to get some rest. Every single time somebody says no to something here and you want to go independent because you know your worth and your value, because the seeds were planted very early on. Here we go. Somebody like, okay, almost basically trying to determine your worth and your value, whoever you are. So what inner discipline or commitment does Taurus need to be renewed or redefined? And that's what it is. Somebody's overthinking something. You overthinking something. Shady people to the left, family members or not. We familiar with this and we familiar with that, and you don't know such and such and such. Familiar spirits can be very, very dangerous because they starting at a teenage way of thinking between the ages of 15 and 21. Something is reminding them of what they dealt with, and they're not ready to resolve something in their spirit. So they try to project that onto somebody else because that seed is planted real deep for you. The moment somebody starts saying, okay, I don't want to be connected to shady people whatsoever, I'm cutting shady people off, I'm walking away from shady energies, who like to operate in darkness, do stuff in the, sneaky stuff behind people's back. Here it comes. Dark magician energy, playing games. This is Mercury. Mercury, the magician card, playing the mind games again, trying to loop you into something. See this infinity symbol right here? Like trying to chain you to something. Something you said or somehow you communicated something, or your way of thinking, attacking all of those parts in your birth chart. You like, nope. So you breaking a generational cycle, chain, or curse. What legacy is Taurus building, and what must be clear to continue that path? You're the one that's initiating the conversation that you are safe and you're protected. Like, you good. Like, okay, I don't know what everybody else talking about, but I can go ahead and close out a cycle and move on. I'm shifting my reality. Luck is a mindset. Because somebody's saying, oh, you lucky. No, that's a mindset. You know your worth. You're on a particular frequency that attracts wealth, financial independence. That's not even arrogance. That's just that is you, your confidence in the creator and source. That's what that is. So you praying for other people's strength, because meek does not mean weak. So whoever these energies are that's trying to loop you into something, you praying for their strength, because emotionally you hit the jackpot. A lot of your wishes are being fulfilled because you know your worth and your value. So there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. Okay, arrogance is basically I don't need the creator. I don't need anybody, and I don't even need the creator. Somebody is not simple minded by any stretch of the imagination. Somebody is truly a believer in the lamb. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody is truly a believer. So all that confusion, somebody basically, like, somebody can miss a Taurus with the confusion. Like, who and whose you are. I don't know who I'm talking to. The confidence level is on 1,000. I love it. Look, that's what somebody's saying. Source is separating in people and families. I'm talking about, and I'm not saying separating families, but people are exposing people who are operating on frequency, on particular frequency. Like, somebody's saying, basically saying that you are lucky. You're like, I'm safe and protected by the great I am. So here we have, how can Taurus forgive themselves from past missteps or move forward with wisdom? Go to wisdom itself. Somebody is the Lamb of God. Here we had a tenant say, hey, this is what you have in common with a lot of people who thrive behind closed doors. Somebody thought that you're going to be sitting behind closed doors, bleeding out. And I'm talking about like, woe is me. Everybody talking about me behind my back. And I'm so sad and I'm so blue. You like, I'm thriving behind closed doors. What are you talking about? It's because familiar spirits don't know what you got going on behind closed doors, just like they don't know what a whole lot of other people got on going on behind closed doors, Taurus. And that is crushing familiar spirits because that's how they thrive in knowing everything that's going on in people's lives, playing mind game, like they just need a project or something to solve, a puzzle to solve. That's why they loop people in. This right here, this number 8 right here. Eighth house is ruled by Scorpio. We're not talking about any Scorpios that you know, but Scorpio's card is the death card. By ending someone, right? Having somebody to meet some unfortunate end behind closed doors because of an assumption. So source is saying to you, you overthinking something. When you start overthinking something to a point where it's causing you to tiptoe into demonic territory because the devil is the author of confusion, chaos, and confusion. Like confusion, and you need clarity. Somebody needs fresh air. Get out in the fresh air so your ancestors can talk to you through the trees. You're an earth sign. Ancestors will be talking to you through nature. You're gonna be getting out there by yourself. That's how you're gonna save yourself. Yeah, something is inverted. Some energies feel like they saving you from something when really they don't have the power to save you from anything because they're not your God, right? And so in hindsight, somebody is seeing something that they didn't see before. It's like it's almost like somebody is saying somebody is making you a target. Somebody is saying that people are making you a target when you were never a target. You're protected. You're safe and protected. What I'm saying in the spirit realm for somebody is like somebody is surrounded by a legion of angels. No matter where you go, it's literally like somebody's ancestors. You got a lot of ancestors around you. That's what I'm saying, like a legion of angels. You see birds on this right here. You see a lot of birds when you go outside, but I feel like there is it's weird because it almost feels like looking at your cards here, energies see somebody in their family. You could be a man or woman. It doesn't really matter what your outer appearance is, but it's like somebody people have seen you as like this golden. I'm thinking of the movie with Eddie Murphy. What's it called? The Golden Child, where they had that little kid in the cage, right? Like kind of high, lifted high above. Like people have put people on kind of like a pedestal, but it's almost like, but it's to their advantage. So the moment you start thinking for yourself and being independent and knowing your worth and your value, all of a sudden people are saying that you're arrogant. And no matter how meek you are, but this is common that happens with a lot of loved ones. As soon as people feel like, oh, we were the ones that planted the seed in you to know your worth and your value, okay, but those energies are not your God. You're praying for them, you're praying the same strength for them that they prayed for you. So it's all love. You're just operating in a spirit of love. It's just that you're not being moved by people's emotions, their low vibrating emotions, their feelings. So they can't control you about how they feel about something when you're using your logical mind. So somebody is getting out and getting some fresh air and waking up from some nightmares. You're waking up from some night. Somebody gonna stop talking about the same thing over and over and over again, because that is invoking nightmares. It's like the boogeyman. Like somebody's just constantly just saying the same thing over and over and over again, and you're overthinking it. You're somebody overthinking something. Somebody said two entities said somebody was talking about somebody behind their back and gonna create a nightmare, and if there's somebody's a night just over and over and over again, same thing people said about you. Okay, all right, same thing, same. We're not each other's gods. Anybody that's wishing the worst on somebody is only wishing the worst on themselves. That's the end of that. So people coming and gossiping to somebody about something, you don't know whether they telling the truth or they heard something or telling a lie. So anyway, here we have what ancestral patterns around work, money, and status need healing or release. Because again, you're feeling things in your body. Some energies who say they love you, You've been feeling it in your back because you've been carrying people financially. Whoever these energies are, you've been carrying. That's why the money cards came out first. You've been carrying people financially, whether it's just your name being on something and people like, okay, it's just going to draw a lot of people around you and it's going to it's going to fatten a lot of people's pockets just by having your energy. I'm not trying to step on anybody's corns or jacked up toes. Listen, this is what I'm seeing here in the cards. Something about your energy, because you know your worth and your value. When you any place you step into, your ancestors are right there with you. It's like somebody got a legion of angels. Somebody been rich, like really in the crib. Like soon as somebody came out the womb, somebody was rich. It's like somebody laid hands on somebody and said, "Look, this one right here, this one right here is the golden one. You could be a man or woman; it don't really matter." But somebody transferred all of this wealth into somebody. And somebody's loved ones know it. They know it. And so somebody sees somebody is almost like they gotta put you in this survival mode mindset. Like, okay, it's always like being in a but they don't realize they give off this energy to other people that in their mind they feel like they come across like they're protecting somebody, but they're actually putting somebody in survival, putting people in survival mode. And that's the air that they give off, and they don't even see that that's the air that they give off. Putting people in survival mode, right? They just happen to have the knowledge, like in terms of like the book knowledge behind, like they have the physical, like they would be they have the book knowledge. Here we have, so somebody's making a decision. Somebody's making a decision. This is a family member. It could actually be 7 family members that planted a lot of seeds, several of them. But you're ending something. Because source is making something so clear to you that you're making a connection here now. So it's almost the connection that somebody is making is that anytime somebody can think for themselves and is making sense, right? That they can put any low vibration. It's like somebody some energies don't want people to be happy. It's like, or to be safe on their own. Like they feel like, okay, I'm protecting you. That's like literally, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. It's like literally putting a lamb around lions and saying, we can protect that lamb. And the natural instinct of a lion is to eat, that gobble that lamb up. Like the lamb is like, bad. It's like, what? Anybody see what's going on here? Craziness. So in hindsight, you and somebody are walking away from something because, child, please. Never send somebody back into a lion's den. So source is saying you are safe, whoever you are, you safe and protected. The energies like to send people into a lion's den and act like, okay, somebody has all the education and all of this other stuff to say, okay, we can protect this energy is out there. They're lamb amongst wolves and wild animals, and we know this and we know that. When you know that if you have source, the power of source within you, you are safe and protected no matter who you are. So something is very familiar to you. Something is, I don't know who you are, but something is very, very familiar to you that you learn how to save yourself through prayer. Somebody learned how to save themselves through prayer a long time ago when they were a kid. This is what you have in common with quite a few people. That prayer has said, if you don't know nothing else, you can have a limited vocabulary. You could just be sitting there moaning and crying. Source is reading your hearts, and that's the part that some people forgot. Some people, source is going to bring it back around to some energies. The Magician card. So you're making something very clear through your communication. You're like, Yep. We talking about Mercury here. Mercury is the communication, intellect, rationalize, skills. It rules Gemini, which rules 3rd house and 6th house. There's something about your 3rd house, early education, your intelligence, your sibling interaction, logic, reason, communication skills, short trips, hobbies, and also your 6th house, where as far as health, work habits, daily routines, fitness, pets, service to others, diet, spiritual practices, you're going to initiate a conversation. You're closing out some kind of cycle and you independently, addressing something that you have in common with some energies. This is Ten of Swords right here. Somebody just wants somebody to meet complete and painful ending, rock bottom, failure, collapse, defeat. What is it in for a person that would want that for somebody behind closed doors who is thriving? This is also the Ten of Swords. Why would somebody want somebody to relive a nightmare and assassinating people's character and want somebody to meet two people to meet a defeat behind closed doors? Yeah. Seven of Swords here. You're walking away from something because you are the Hierophant. You're walking away from something. You are the Hierophant. Somebody just had too many voices in their ears attacking, thinking that your second house was going to be attacked. Whoever you are, your personal resources, your money habits, your possessions, your values, your financial security, your self-worth, and your income is going to be attacked. Source say you're safe and protected. Focus on that. Focus on what Source told. Don't you believe what Source told you? That's how you're going to save yourself. In hindsight, somebody would have walked away from all this talking with people being in your ear saying they love you and all this. Love should not hurt like that. Source is saying, hey, look, whoever these loved ones are, something is deepening within you. Once you're on earth for enough lifetimes, your old soul will begin for non-grasping, detachment, and the surrender. They bring the peace of God. So what people don't realize when you're attached to, and I mentioned this when the moon was in Ophiuchus, I believe. If I didn't mention it in your reading, I might have mentioned it when the moon was in Scorpio. When you're detaching, breaking some kind of a chain, there's not only a physical detachment, there's also a spiritual detachment. Some people cannot detach spiritually from things. They just thinking that just in the physical realm. They just think it's something physical. But for real, those spirits travel. That's why sometimes when people physically leave your house, you feel like your joy comes up missing, your happiness comes up missing. You think they coming in there to steal your flatware and your purses and wallets and shoes. No, nothing physical is missing, but you can't figure out for the life of you why all of a sudden, your body is trying to tell you through these moon phases, why is your back all of a sudden hurting? How come your calf, ankle, shin, and Achilles is starting to hurt? Because Source told you to walk away from certain energies. How come all of a sudden your feet got cramps and your toes straightening out because you got cramps in your toes while you trying to drive, or your pineal gland, your third eye is closed. You ain't see something, right? How come your head, teeth, tongue, and arteries are bothering you? You got to go to the doctor because your body is very telling something else in the physical and the spiritual realm. That's what Source is trying to tell somebody. Somebody's overthinking something. Listening to people in your ear who say they love you, but hurting you at the same time. You about to pull out a sword. Somebody about to pull out a sword and say, hold on, I got to figure out which team I'm on now. Now, hold on. Hold the phone. Have I been talking to the wrong team? Like, am I not seeing something? Somebody's about to go out and get some fresh air because somebody is a leader. Talking about you have been a leader, but somebody may have a title and a position, but not the authority to lead. Like, it's like certain things you may suggest or speak up with. You may say, okay, somebody could have all the degrees. You can know that you're incredibly smart. You could have this desire, like in terms of, we're talking about the moon in Capricorn, to create your own legacy, your own traditions, your own this, that, and the other. But somebody is not speaking up. Somebody is still, and that plant was seed, that seed was planted in someone's spirit a long time ago in terms of you creating your tradition and somebody like being you're financially independent. It's not like somebody really needs somebody. You want people around, but you want people who are not going to hurt you. That's saying that they love you, whoever this is, right? So that's what I'm seeing here in your cards, and that's what a lot of people have in common. Yeah. So when somebody's back is against the wall, somebody's learning how to tap in directly to source. Yeah. So two energies are walking away from something. Two energies are saying you seeing something in hindsight that, hey, somebody knows how to tap in. Hey, there's a difference between tap in and sitting there being depressed but feeling like your back is against the wall. When you know how to tap in, somebody who knows how to tap in is not afraid of people talking. following people online, clicking on people's posts, like obsessed, like an obsession. So somebody has made a decision. Somebody has made a decision to initiate some kind of conversation, like for real. You know, because you're thinking about your future. This is 11th house. 11th house is all about your friendships, your community, your goals, your hopes, your wishes, your awareness, humanitarianism, technology, the future. Somebody is really taking, I was about to say the bull by the horns, pun intended, because your symbol is a bull. But it's, anyway, but somebody is really thinking about having more like deeper conversations around, you know, like how seeds were planted, you know, how people grew up, like how people grew up and was able to like really tap into the ancestry line, like really how you tap into that strength from ancestors. Somebody is deeply rooted and grounded for real. And we talking about independent, like how is and what team, like somebody is ready to ask questions. Somebody got a notepad out, like, okay, ready to ask questions, like an interview or something. Here we have, once you're on earth for enough lifetimes, your old soul will begin for non-grasping, detachment, and surrender. They bring the peace, number two, of God. You're not about having people who say they love you continue to hurt you over and over and over again. Whoever I'm talking about they just want the best for you. They want peace for you as long as bills are being paid. And so anybody that comes into a situation has to be handpicked, because that energy has to also be able to be controlled by what's being said, the spell work, by what's being said around you, even by shady comments. So they got to control the narrative of a situation. So if you marry somebody, that person also has to be under that same spell. Hey, so somebody don't have a problem with calling, calling you, um, um, whoever you are, I'm talking about second house, and saying to you, oh, I need some money to help pay for X, Y, and Z. Forget your spouse or your partner or whatever that y'all are on the same team. Forget that your kids need something. I need something because guess what? I've been knowing you longer. Hold on. No. Mm-mm. So somebody's thinking about their future. That's right. Here we have this right here, six. Your sixth house, your health, your work habits. Somebody is not letting family members come between them and their legacy. No more. Yeah, you think about your sixth house, you think about your health. You're not letting people cause you having anxiety attacks, work habits, daily routines, your fitness, your pets, service to others, diet, spiritual practices. You are not letting people come in between that. You're this wreath right here. Somebody is closing out a cycle airtight, and you are enforcing boundaries. So if somebody gets shady, they're gonna get nervous because they don't have to use a blow torch anymore. Just be a little bit shady. Like, just be this much shady. Just be this little bit shady. Say something about somebody's spouse that you're building a legacy with. They may have gotten away with it when you were independent, but say something about somebody's spouse. As much as you love people, that's not how love goes. And you're saying it in love. I love you, but listen, and I want everybody to kind of get together, but no, that's not going to be tolerated. You're not pulling somebody apart. Somebody's not going to be pulled apart anymore. The letter V is significant. V. Because I'm seeing these two hands like open on the stage. Victory. Somebody has such a competitive spirit in somebody's family. All they look for is the victory. They don't care who they tear apart. They don't care who, as long as they can stand in the spotlight and say, we did this because we love you, even if it broke your heart. Where's the card? Where is the card? This right here. We did this, even if it broke your heart. A surgery, a divorce, anything, you'll heal, you'll get over it. Nope. So somebody is safe and protected. Yeah, your ancestors got your back. Somebody don't have to worry about. I'm telling. Somebody don't have to worry about anything. Source is exposing hidden enemies. Source is exposing enemies in your face, the ones that don't hide themselves, and Source is also exposing hidden enemies. The ones that keep reminding you of how many times they had your back, and and so it's not like you being, you keeping count, but I mean, somebody's starting to notice that them scales were out of balance, and you were on top of things. So somebody was starting to notice them scales was out of balance, and you got proof, you got receipts. Something about your enemy, your energy. You say you got receipts. You got receipts. How many times you pay people's bills, help them with this, help them with that, help them with this, because okay, you know what? Source want me to stop right there. As soon as I saw something on Instagram where this husband and wife went out to dinner, right? Y'all may have seen it on Instagram, right? The wife said to the husband, the husband had taken his side of the family out. The wife said to the husband, "This time, don't pick up the bill. Ask for a separate bill. Pay for our stuff, right? Pay for the husband and the wife's stuff, right?" The husband had an awakening right there at the table, because every time the husband paid for everybody else's stuff, he was the best man in the world. Hugs and kisses and "we love you, bro," and "brother," or you the hugs all around the neck. I mean, the works. Okay, you hear me? You the leader here. You could have the head of the table. You could have this, whatever you want that showed love because of your financial situation, your money, whatever because you know your value and your worth. This is the second house now, right? You could be a man or woman. I'm sharing this with you. I'm just sharing a story that was on Instagram. But the wife said, "This time, get a separate bill." The husband was heartbroken that not near, and I'm going to say near, none, near, y'all spell it however you want to spell it. Not one of them family members said anything, "Thank you, I'll see you later," nothing. When they walked past the husband and the wife, I'm quite sure they blamed the wife for the wife. "Oh, he would buy stuff if it wasn't for her." Maybe she needed to come up on the scene. Sometimes maybe the husband need to be up on the scene to show some people some stuff that they weren't seeing before. So luck is not, it is a mindset. That seed been planted in you to know your worth from day one. Somebody just had to remind you that love shouldn't hurt. So somebody has a demon of lust, right? So here we have the third eye chakra cleanse. Trust your first mind. Yeah, your third eye. You are protected. Here you go again. You're protected in love. Yeah, it's all becoming clear. Your ex was on some kind of an assignment. Ex could be ex family member, ex friend, ex whoever. Somebody apologizes for betraying you. You are who they prayed for. Yeah, so somebody feels like as long as you paying for everything, and this is somebody's family, okay, so we're crystal clear. I don't know who you're, a man or a woman, but as soon as somebody, either you're single and you're about to, partner up with somebody who is, so source had to get somebody to a point where they were independent, like in every area of your life, in all four corners of your life, your root chakra, your sacral chakra, solar plexus, and your heart chakra. Somebody had to learn how to make that connection where you're independent, right? So something is over, you were still overthinking something, but somebody had to align you with somebody who would have your back just like you would have their back, to show you something that's like, wait a minute, okay, me and somebody are a team together. We're a team together. We are a team together, right? Even we're dealing with shady energies, right? So this is a family member that's on some kind of an assignment. It's not somebody outside of your family. This is somebody inside your family. You may have thought sources exposed energies around you who were your enemy on the outside, but source also showing the enemies within your camp. Angel Gabriel, the messenger of God, is with you. So yeah, something is not as deep as you think. Dancing around your home is if no one is watching. Somebody's a succubus energy. And again, they don't have to be sleeping with anybody. They could just be around those types of energies. They could just be around those types of energies. Somebody's ex could be have a friend that's just like, well, anyway, let's go ahead and close this out. They could be around those types of energies. They may not be in a relationship with that energy. I mean, like not in a romantic relationship with that energy. They could just be, remember we talking about auric layers. They could be like hugging that person, like wishing them the best, those kind of things. But they could be connected somehow to those types of energies. They could be on their same team. They may not even be money. Some people may not even be money hungry, but they could be connected to energies who are like that. But something about you are supplying somebody's needs. So guidance. When you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. It is something about when your loved ones, whether it's your parents or grandparents, who plant that seed very early on that you know your worth and your value, you'll be independent. It'll be deuces. You out. Let somebody be shady towards you. All right. You know what? It was nice talking to everybody. Goodbye. And that's when the drama starts. All the talking starts. Oh, this person must be depressed. They walked away. They was sad. You know, things aren't working out for them. But what it really is they're projecting on themselves until we find out what's going on behind closed doors. That people were just they're thriving behind closed doors, but they cut all the people off that was talking about them behind their back. Then all of a sudden they realize they invoked their own nightmares. That's when the spell work was sent back. That spell work was sent right back. Here we have no pressure. When you want more, don't push yourself or others to get more. Give more of your pure, genuine self, and life will immediately and effortlessly match it. It's coming. So hope is on the horizon in the face of challenges. Remember that nothing lasts forever. I'm telling this picture right here is so telling it don't even make any sense. Trust that the universe has good things in store for you, whoever you are. See this backpack right here? This one of them big hiking backpacks, right? That's how somebody's back has been. You've been carrying people on your back financially for so long. Sources like, it's time, the buck stops here. Because that's how somebody has been preventing them on their own self from being financially independent. Source may have even need to physically relocate somebody to get you away from people just happen to be in the neighborhood. Can I hold a little something? Can I talk about they team you, but can I hold a little something? Yeah. You know how people come around, they had a conversation. Yeah, you know, always start out in the middle of the conversation. Anyway, a new chapter. Yeah. Just like that husband and that wife was in that restaurant on Instagram. I didn't repost it on my Instagram, but the wife says clearly, she said, this time get a separate check. This time get a separate check and see how they respond to you, because it's something that the wife peeked out. She said she peeked something out. She was like, yeah, they all say, she was basically saying like they all love you as long as you're doing something for them. But the moment you say no, because it's going to be hard for them to recognize it as them. They got to blame it on the wife. They got to blame it on this person, this person, this person, this person. Or it just happens to be a husband-wife situation. But let's say, if the opposite, let's say the husband told the wife, don't pay for your family, such and such. Then they would have blamed the husband. Oh, he controlling the money. We don't like him anyway. A new chapter is starting. So yeah, when things seem to be falling apart, be aware that things may be coming together in new ways that suit the next phase of your life even better. That's how somebody's moving into financial independence and your money growing. I feel like Source had to physically move some people away from people just so they couldn't be used anymore. Used by their own loved ones. So stay true and go hug a tree somewhere, because you're an earth sign. Get out in nature. The need for validation from others, if this ain't the truth. The need for validation from others is an illusion. You are not responsible for how others perceive you, but it is your responsibility to stay true to yourself. Hmm. Nobody is mad but the devil. Because why is somebody watching your pockets? Why would anybody watch somebody else's pockets anyway? Why do people care how much money somebody else had? Yeah, listen, it's energy.